Live from Western Mindanao State University, ESO Mabuhay, welcome the CW101 channel, the Likvica Worldwide.
Headlines. Import quota refers to the total value of any item of import. Import quota shall be fixed by Import Control Board. Foreign exchange available cannot cover all the applications. The sum up the 750 pesos annually. Export Development Act of 1994.
For section number 1, import quota refers to the total value of any item of import allowed for entry into the Philippines for any specified period. Quota allocation refers to the total value of import of any particular item allowed to an importer or that portion of the import quota granted to the importer. Import license refers to the permit issued by the Import Control Board to import any particular shipment of commodities. Foreign exchange refers to any medium for effecting international payments. Old importer refers to any person, whether natural or juridical, who imported a particular commodity in the years 1946, 1947, and or 1948. New importer refers to all the importers. Board refers to the Import Control Board. Commissioner refers to the Chief of the Import Control Administration. Appendices A, B, C, and D as attached are hereby made an integral part of this act. For section number 2, there is hereby created an Import Control Board composed of 3 members who shall be appointed by the President of the Philippines with the consent of the Commission on Appointments and shall hold office for 2 years, one of whom shall be designated as chairman by the President. 1 member shall represent the central bank, 1 the businessmen, and 1 the consumers, provided that with the exception of the member representing the central bank, no other member shall be connected with the government or any of its agencies, instrumentalities, or corporation owned or controlled by it. The 2 members of the board not representing the central bank shall each receive a per diem compensation at the rate of 25 pesos for every meeting attended, but the total of which per diems for the whole year shall not exceed 6,000 pesos for each member. For section number 3, the total Import Control Board shall, number 1, establish the policies governing the fixing and allocation of quotas for any article, goods, or commodity. Number 2, promulgate such rules and regulations as may be necessary for the proper enforcement and or implementation of this act. Number 3, exercise supervision and control over the Import Control Administration and review on appeal any decision, ruling, or opinion issued by the Import Control Administration or by its commissioner. And number 4, be responsible for carrying out the provision of this act and such rules and regulation issue thereunder. For section number 4, in order to provide for the proper administrative machinery in carrying out the policies, rulings, orders, or opinions of the Import Control Board, as well as the provision of this act. For section number 5, any person desiring to import any article, goods, or commodities into the Philippines shall file an application for a corresponding quota allocation and license with the Import Control Administration. And for section number 6, no person, corporation, or association shall import any article, goods, or commodity into the Philippines without a proper import license issue or said purpose in accordance with this act. Any importation or order to import any articles, goods, or commodities under control under the old Import Control Law between April 30, 1950 and the date of the approval of this act shall be considered illegal unless such order or importation was duly approved by the Import Control Board. This is Roel Tong Jr. reporting.
In Section 7, import quota shall be fixed by the Import Control Board. In Section 8, the following import shall be admitted without import quota allocation. In Section 9, no item of import not enumerated in the appendices of this act shall be allowed an import license and exchange covered in excess of its import's value, or CIF, for the year 1948 except agricultural machineries and equipment and other machinery, materials, and equipment for dollar producing and dollar saving industries. In Section 10, for the purpose of fixing the import quota for each article, goods or commodity, the average annual CIF value theory for the year 1946, 1947, and 1948 shall be used as basis. Section 11. Within 30 days after the import control base board as herein provided shall have fixed an import quota for each item of import, and importer desiring to import any such item may file an application with the commissioner for an allocation of a portion of said import quota. In a ruling of resolution, the Import Control Board, as provided in Republic Act numbered 332, contrary notwithstanding, the applicants may file their application within 45 days after the approval of this act. Section 12. The portion of the import quotas available for all importers shall be allocated by the commissioner among them in proportion to the annual average amount of their importation. Evidence of the sales tax actually paid by them corresponding to the years 1946, 1947, and 1948. This is Jay Nervis reporting.
Good morning, everyone. So, based on section number 13, in determining the location of import quota among all the new importers, all government agencies importing any particular article, goods or commodity shall included and considered as private importers, and in such cases, the value of their respective imports may be based on documentary evidence other than tax receipts. Section 14. The board shall reserve 30% of the total import quota for any articles, goods or commodities for the fiscal year 1950 and 1951, 40% for the fiscal year 1951 and 1952, and 50% for the fiscal year 1952 and 1953 in favor of bona fide new importers who did not import such items at any time during the years 1946, 1947, and 1948. Section 15. Any existing law, executive order, or regulation to the contrary, notwithstanding, no government, office, agency, or instrumentality except the Import Control Commissioner shall locate the import quota among various importers. Section 16. If the Commissioner, after a thorough investigation, is satisfied that an application for quota allocation or license is in order, and that the applicant has complied with all the requirements provided in this Act and the rules and regulations issued thereunder, he shall approve it and issue the corresponding import license. Section 17. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank shall certify to the Import Control Board from time to time amount of exchange available for any specified period for import purposes. The Commissioner shall not issue any import license when the value involved in such importation exceeds the balance of the total foreign exchange available for the period as certified to by the Central Bank. Section 18. Upon presentation of an import license duly issued by the Commissioner, the Central Bank shall issue to the holder thereof the corresponding exchange covered. This is Jose Steven Lasang reporting.
Good morning, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is a section number 80. Upon presentation of any import license duly issued by the Commissioner, the Central Bank shall issue to the holder thereof the corresponding exchange over. The section number 19, when the foreign exchange available cannot cover all the applications for importations, the Import Control Board shall reduce proportionately the foreign available among the import license holder. And the section number 20, any violation of the provisions of this act or any rules and regulations issued thereunder shall be punished by the fine not less than 5,000 pesos nor more than 50,000 pesos, or by imprisonment for not less than 2 years nor more than 5 years, or both such fine and imprisonment at the discretion of the court. And the section number 21, the sum of 750,000 pesos annually or as much thereof as may necessary to carry out the purposes of this act, and until Congress provides otherwise, is hereby appropriated out of any funds in National Treasury not otherwise appropriated, to defray the expenses of the Import Control Board and Import Control Administration. And the section number 22, any act or executive order, rules or regulations whose provisions are contrary to our contravention with any provisions of this act are hereby repealed. Any section or provisions of this act may declared unconditional by competent court shall not affect the remaining provisions thereof. In the section number 23, the Import Control Board shall, as soon as possible and in case exceeding 60 days, fix all the import quotas of all items of imports as provided for in this act. This is Lowell Laurea reporting.
Exportation. First, short title. This act shall otherwise be known as the Export Development Act of 1994. And the next one is Declaration of Policy. It shall be the policy of the state to involve or evolve export development into a national effort. The government shall champion export to a focal strategy for sustainable agri-industrial development to achieve Philippine nurtured towards the year 2000. The private sector shall be the lead in the collective effort to promote export through discipline and hard work as it confronts the challenge of winning international markets. The next one is the key operating principle. This key operating principle is a macroeconomic policy framework that supports export development shall be provided, especially in key areas of concern to exporters. The next is the definition of terms. For purposes of this act, the following definitions shall apply to the following terms. A. Exporter means any person, natural or judicial, licensed to do business in the Philippines, engaged directly or indirectly in the production, manufactured or trade of revenues from the sale of its product, or services abroad for foreign industries, provided that in the case of services, the same shall be limited on information technology services, constructed services, and other services as defined jointly the Department of Finance and the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI. Services rendered by overseas contract workers and not covered by the definition. B. Export promotion shall refer to a range of export activities which the public and private sectors undertake, such as networking, especially in export support success, services and provision of trade market information, organization of trade fairs and missions, provision of advisory services, conduct of seminars and lectures, workshops, conference, and training on export-related subjects, publication of export-related documents, handling of quality standard, product design and such other activities aimed at promoting existing products in specific foreign markets, principally being those activities necessary for the implementation of the Philippine Export Development Plan. C. Export incentives shall refer to export to support measure provided by the government, and to export to encourage investment in the export sector. To increase export sales and perform competitively in the export market, the overall objective is to increase the country's export sales. And the last one, accredited organization shall refer to the organization of exporters granted accreditation by the Export Development Council as provided in Section 7.1 of this Act. And once again, this is John Peter Altuberos reporting.
On the other hand, the section number 5 is the Philippine Export Development Plan or PEDP, and the section number 6, Export Development Council, and the section number 7, Powers and Function, the section number 8, Composition of the Council, the section number 9, Mode of Selection and Tenure of Private Sectors and Representative, the section number 10, Meeting of Council, and section number 11, Funding, section number 12, Accredited Export Organization, section number 13, Export Financing Grantee Insurance, section number 14, Export Promotion and Information, and the section number 15, Philippine Trade Center, that section number 16, Incentives, section number 17, Negotiability, the section number 18, Appointment of Private Sector Representative, section number 19, Funding of the Council, section number 20, Operation of the Council, section number 21, Non-Compliance of Mandatory Commission of this Act, and the section number 22, Implementation Rules and Regulations, the section number 23, Separability Clause, and section number 24, Repealing Clause, and section number 25 is Effectivity. This is Loelaria reporting about the sections of the import and export reporting.